Welcome back to Shifted Reality Season 2, Episode 15. That's right, Shifted Reality just had its 1 year anniversary last week, and we got to 200 subscribers in our first year. So if you can help us out, let's add another 300. Can you help us get to 500 subscribers before the end of our second year of recording Shifted Reality Let's Play videos? Let's find out. And it's time for another fun episode on the RealSMP server. Now I wanted to show this on our last episode, but the audio got corrupted and I was running tight on deadline. But we have the largest build in our shopping district to date. Look at the size of this thing. It is massive and it is impressive. Gil has brought the coolest Nether Fortress build that you can imagine into the overworld, and is just so seamless on how he did it. I am just blown away by this thing. This is so cool. But I have to admit, there is one thing, someone made a comment about it, that once they said it, I can't unsee it. Let's get an aerial view of this baby. Look at how that dwarfs the rest of the shops in the shopping district. It makes my little fish market look like a pop-up shop. Holy moly, this is impressive. But someone made a comment that it looked like the Tower of Sauron from Lord of the Rings. And once they said that, I'm like, yeah, I can't unsee that. So we're going to help out Gil and complete that vibe. He even brought in the little fossils from the Soul Sand Valleys. Look at this thing. And these are going to become very important finds in the future, as this is where you will find the dried gas that will allow you to create a happy gas to ride around in the overworld. That's going to revolutionize building. It really is. Still no one has claimed our lost dog. What's up, buddy? Who's your owner? But if we're going to complete the Eye of Sauron look for his tower, we are going to need to dip into our profits a little bit. Now, I don't need the gunpowder shop, which is, very simple. Just a little creeper face looking down on you as you come in here to buy some gunpowder. Now we're here looking at the dye shop. 1 diamond for half a stack. So let's see, we need yellow. No, that's not yellow. Half a stack of yellow. We need some red. And we're going to need some orange. Do they have orange in here? They are sold out of orange. Alright, we're going to just leave a little negative review right there because they are out of orange and I really need orange for what I want to do at the top of Sauron's Tower here. Fortunately for me, I have eye bloom flowers and plenty of bone meal. Because once it gets dark and they pop open, you can harvest them while they're open, and they will make you some orange dye. I actually really wish that these flowers were light sources, even if they were only like, very dim, like glow lichen style light sources. That'd be so cool. Alright, let's sleep before the zombies get too bad around here. And just like that, we now have our 32 orange. Wanted to spend a diamond for it, but they didn't have it available for sale, so that's their loss and my manual work. Now we just need to wait for all of our glass to finish melting. Now, I'm actually going to be breaking one of my standard rules with this build. Normally I say don't work with glass until you have a silk touch pickaxe, which I do not have. I could probably make one, but I'm just not feeling it yet, so we're going to make this Eye of Sauron, and hopefully we don't make enough mistakes that we run out of glass, but 4 stacks of each color that we need seems like it should be enough. Let's get to this. Okay, I don't normally build this kind of thing, but I think that looks pretty awesome, actually. The Eye of Sauron overlooking our shopping district.
Oh, God. What have you done, Dad?
I keep seeing a name tag pop up, and I think it's Wasay, and so I have to be very careful because I don't want him to know that I'm up here. Yeah, it's definitely Wasay that's down there. He was directly below me a little bit earlier. I could see his name tag a little bit clearer. Gotta be careful. Come on, man, what are you doing down there? He's just like circling me. Does he know I'm up here? He just disappeared. I think he went through the portal. I should be safe now. Well, I almost got caught, but there was one other thing I added in addition to the Eye of Sauron at the top of the tower. First try! Yeah. A little secret room at the top. Where we can sit and discuss what we're going to do about the pranks that Wasay has been playing on us. A war room of sorts. Okay, the coast is clear, so I think we can safely exit without anybody finding out where our secret war room is. Alright, let's get down there and sleep real quick. What? What's that? Huh, weird. Okay. Alright, what were those signs that we saw out there? HOA violation. All ATMs need to be taxed via the enclave. HOA violation. Unattended canine. That was our lost dog that was safely tied. Oh man. HOA violation. Too many mobs. HOA violation. Obstructing the path. Your signs are obstructing the path, buddy. HOA violation. HOA violation. Obstructing the. He's giving a violation for the HOA obstructing the path. He's giving a violation of his own violation. HOA violation, too many HOA violations. HOA violation, no door. Okay, that was kind of fair. HOA violation, advertisement on the pathway. Yeah, they go by fish lake. Alright, HOA violation, no visible fishing license. HOA violation, no mind the gap warning. HOA violation, take down in the next week. Oh. HOA violation, too ugly. Wait. Wasn't there a gunpowder shop here a minute ago? HOA violation, no street dumping. HOA violation uses spoiler. Isn't that the wolf from the creeper for the gunpowder shop? HOA violation, never any product. Yeah, that's actually pretty fair. HOA violation, shops cannot encroach on path. HOA violation, major health concerns must be shut down
What's wrong with barbecue, man? What do you have against barbecue? Plus, it's cheap barbecue. Wait, did Specs get, Wait, how is Spec the only one without an HOA violation? What's so perfect about her shop? Well, reverse shop, but still. Geez, someone keeps buying out all my... You know, the whole reason I started putting enchanting potions here was so people could more easily do multiple enchantments. Okay, apparently there is nothing wrong with my arms and armor shop because there's no HOA violation here. HOA violation, no advertisement on the path. And there doesn't seem to be any violation for Train's shop either, even though there is holes in the ground and his never has any stock. What's up with that? Okay, I feel like I need to point out several obvious things here. First off, we don't have an HOA. HOA is a homeowners association. These are shops. We don't even have a popo. Although, admittedly, that would be super cool. Someone could get the popo to guest star on here. I will certainly submit to their ruling, but not this person claiming to run an HOA on a shopping district. Homeowners association, more like habitually overreaching authority. Come on. There is no HOA. He does not speak for this server. It's a good thing we have a war room now because we need some planning.
Alright, so I hear the HOA guy is hanging around the shopping district again. Let's go confront him.
Oi,
Hey,
what are you doing here?
you said I needed a license on my shop, so I'm taking care of that.
Yeah, you need a license. And I also
Nope.
noticed another thing. Your deck is kind of on fire, so I'm gonna have to write you up for that.
No, that is that is because of mobs. If any burning mob comes along, they will reignite it. All right. So here I'm gonna.
fire. Okay.
I'm taking down your HOA violation, and I'm going to put up my license here. Hold on. I got it right here for you.
Let's see how official this is. Sir, this forged. Ow! Okay, fine.
Alright, now that we have addressed the HOA issues, let's work on restocking at least some of this stock. There we go. I still need to get about 2 more stacks of potions of XP to finish that. Let's see what we have here. Wait, how many? Oh, yeah. Alright. Someone's been making a run on armor. So another stack of diamonds. Holy cow.
Well, we may not be fully done with the habitually overreacting authority state just yet, but that's enough dealing with him for right now. We need to make some base progress, and I don't necessarily know if I'm going to be making any solid progress in this field area here for what I want to build in. And that's mainly just because I really want to work with brick again this season. I have a idea that I think is going to look really good, except no one has a good, Mason Trading Hall farm like Bias had last year that we used in our season 1. And I don't know if I want to go swimming and mining out all the clay that's out in the ocean to make the bricks I need, because I'm going to need a fair amount. So I might just do a first on my base. I specifically tried to avoid this in my last season, And you may have seen me make this if you were watching last season for Thunder, but I'm thinking up here, where we've been collecting our resin that we use, might be a time to put in a clay farm. The clay farm will give us all the brick that we need. This area is relatively undisturbed and untouched by the village and our base. And I can give me a good excuse to work on building something up. So let's clear out some ground around here. And let's make us our first automated farm. After we sleep, though. Don't want to play with mobs. Okay, so this works on a very simple principle, honestly. We have a hopper here that's feeding in the fresh water bottles, and that is to make sure that this one always stays full of 9. So as soon as one gets dispensed to turn it into a mud block, a new one will replace it while it's waiting for the system to feed back another one. Now, in order to keep these water bottles in this dispenser, you need to keep the hopper from being able to draw the water bottles out and pass them on to the system. Well, there are ways you can use item sorters and hopper locks and things like that, but I say, why bother with the complicated method when there's always a simpler solution? This is just simply put, you fill up this hopper with empty bottles, and none of these are moving out just simply because there's no room in this one. Now, some might consider this a waste of resources. This took half an hour to collect the sand for it, and then maybe just some little AFK time to smelt it down. So then this dispenser here will fire one of these bottles into a water spot, which will fill up the bottle, but since this is full, it will also drop the bottle out into that water stream, which will flow down to a small bubble elevator, which just pops up 3 blocks and brings it back over this ice into this hopper. And the reason we have it covered up with these solid blocks is just that when it pops up from the bubble vader column, it's not bouncing up and then having to bounce and settle before it gets swept down. It just comes up and immediately gets pushed down. Now this redstone circuit really can't be any easier. When I place a block in front of this piston, the redstone torch there will power that block, which will then send a power signal through this redstone into the piston, which will push it forward, while simultaneously it will trigger this one to release one of those water bottles, turning it into mud, and then that's going to drop down, and then this is going to release one of the empty bottles to refill with water, which is going to go up in the system and come back around, keeping this thing perpetually filled. So that's there. It's just like that. You honestly cannot get a more simple design than this. And the reason that is just because we reached our push limit, and I did that because I need to know how far out this can go before I go my next step, and I'm a little lazy on remembering what the count is for that. So we just do it the old-fashioned way. Test it till it can't go any further, and then that's our push limit. You'll notice I brought this back by 2 from its max push limit, and that's just because I like to have a margin of error when it comes to limits. But this is going to work on a similar basis. Once the piston pushes a mud block all the way to this spot, this is going to trigger, and it's going to move all of these ones forward 1. Just like that. Now that we have a push limit of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 established, we are going to do a similar design, except we're going to switch it to be vertical. Now for this next part, I might need to come in and phone a friend, because when I made this previously, I had it for both mud and clay, and I just came along and dug this up with a efficiency shovel real quick, and then I carried it up some stairs, and then I put it on top to allow it to turn into clay. However, this time I was thinking, oh, why don't we just automate it? We can just push it up, and once it gets up, once you get up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks, then we have another system that pushes it forward until it lines up. Problem with that is that my method for triggering the pistons, either on that side or on this side, isn't going to work for sending it vertical, because it is kind of dependent on one of these being the control block that triggers the pistons, and then once it goes up, control block is no longer away and the pistons retract. I may need to call in a friend to help me figure out the best way to do this. So this is why I say I don't have the mindset of a redstone builder, because my first thought was to use an observer to detect from the side, but every circuit I came up with was always just creating a redstone clock and causing the pistons to fire repeatedly. So I reached out to Redor, find his channel in the description down below, and he showed me how I can use a second observer and piston in order to send the signal only once. And then Red asked, why are you making it so complicated with observers when you can just do what you did before from the side instead of from the bottom? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, just do it from the side instead of the bottom. Same thing. These push forward, signal gets pushed into this block, which powers this line, and that entire line powers all the pistons to push the mud blocks up. And then after they do that so many times, I'll just need to put in another line to push it over, where it will go over a platform with dripstone, which will slowly turn the mud into clay. So simple, and I was making it so complicated. Now, ultimately, the solution we came to for this top part, to start pushing the mud blocks across the drying platform, is not a perfect solution, but it is a solution nonetheless. And I'll show you why it's not quite perfect. So what's going to happen is when it pushes up and gets this line of mud blocks in place, then this is going to power through that mud block, which is going to turn on the redstone lamp. And then the observer will detect that and fire all of these pistons to push them forward onto the drying platform. Now, unfortunately, it will also detect... It will detect when this redstone lamp next turns off and pushes again, so it fires twice. But if we replace it with a copper bulb that only turns on or off when it receives a new redstone signal, we will fix the double firing. Oh, I forgot that they literally built in a T flip-flop. Oh, perfect. I just gotta go get a copper bulb. Be right back. How do I make copper bulbs again? I don't actually remember how to make copper bulbs. I have 10 ingots. Is that enough? And Spec saves my day again by having the copper rods I need. Okay, so I traded a sherd for some blaze rods from Spec, and that will allow me to make a copper bulb. And I am going to go ahead and wax it. So now, if I put the copper bulb on there, and now when this row of mud is pushed up and a block goes right here, that bulb turns on, fires once, pushes it all forward onto our drying rack. And then when this second layer of mud is put down there, it will turn off and fire once, pushing it forward again. Nice, simple, and compact. We have this block here. When this is fully powered, it's going to push down this piston with a glass block that will stop the machine, so you can't over push it and break any decorative walls we put up later, or cause you to put it in and have it rapid fire out a bunch of water bottles and wreck the system. And it's already drying into clay. Now let's see what that looks like in action. So you just stand here, you just keep pushing. Nope, That is a little bit of a downside. If you're a little too fast, it can break your torch when it pushes the dirt block down. But redstone torches are cheap, easy to replace if that does happen. I'm not too concerned about it, but hey, it is now fully filled up. And lets you know that it is drying and ready for harvest soon. And now I can use this if I want to start working on some packed mud projects. I can just collect it from down here, or I can let it go all the way up there if I want to get clay and make some bricks. One other thing I want to point out about this design is this is not the largest that you can make this. These pistons here can go 2 more over. If you wanted to work on the max length, you would just move this torch to this spot right here and you get your max. I would add 2 more layers here, and you can extend the length of it, this batch here that's moving, up to 12 blocks out. And then after you push it up and start pushing it back, once you get back to this last spot, instead of extending, putting your stop on it, you could just put another up motion and just keep moving it up, and that will allow it to produce more clay faster. But I'm not making a super farm here. I'm not trying to supply the entire server. I just want building blocks for my own use. So a smaller farm is better for my purposes, and then it will be easier for me to decorate it to make it look all nice and pretty building that is going to be part of our village. And whilst we wait for all of our clay to convert from mud, we will be wrapping up this episode. If you watched this far, don't forget to like and subscribe, because next week we are going to put a decorative element on this so it looks nice and part of our village. Until next time, have a good one, everybody. Bye, everybody. Oh, hey, look, my creaking are coming out.